You've heard a lot of commentary recently about what you do with young quarterbacks. Okay, do you play them right away? Well, in Washington, what if Jaden Daniels was sitting on the bench? Wouldn't be real good, right? Okay, this guy's a transformational player in that organization, and he's been incredible right from the start. We had Dak Prescott in 2016. Houston had C.J. Stroud, Ben Roethlisberger when he first came in. To me, these guys are the exceptions. And so you really have to pull back and say, where is this player? Where is this team right now? What's the best decision for us? And there are countless examples that we all know. Patrick Mahomes sat for a year. Andy Reid said, Alex Smith is our quarterback. Patrick, as incredible as you are, every day you wow us in practice with these amazing throws, you're going to sit and watch for a year. He started the last game of the season. And I think he would reflect back and say, I had so much more armor to get ready to go play and play at a high level because of that year. Aaron Rodgers didn't play till year 4. Tony Romo didn't play till year 4. Great players like Elway and Aikman and Bradshaw and all these Peyton Manning, these Hall of Fame players, top 10 quarterbacks of all time, they struggled early. So I think having a healthy respect for what the transition is critical. And you have to be strong in your beliefs about that, about where your player and where your team is. The commander said, hey, Jaden Daniels is ready. He started over 50 games in college. We feel like we can put an environment together where he can have success. That's a great decision for them. That's not everybody's decision. And again, as a head coach, as a GM, as an owner, you have to be strong enough to make those decisions. What's best now and what's best for the future of the team and for this player. And I think if more people did that and resisted kind of the promotional aspect of their team, they'd be better off now and in the long run.
Is it fair to say, though, that even with Jaden Daniels, there's still an element of experimentation that goes into this? We only are going to know if he's ready to thrive at this level. We think he will be. We've got all the pieces. We can put together a 25-page presentation on how and why this is going to work. But you don't know what the guy can do until you put him out there. Whether he sits a year, whether he plays right away, at some point he's got to go play. And I still feel like it's a roll of the dice with most of these guys. And sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't.
Well, there's no doubt it is. And you have to be able to adjust as you go. So oftentimes people will say, oh, we're benching Anthony Richardson. He's done for his life. Okay, wait, let's slow down. Just slow down. Everybody in the Indianapolis Colts organization, they love this guy coming out. Elite ability. I mean, the ability to throw the ball a country mile and run, and he's 250 pounds, and he makes these spectacular plays. Let's go back to his experience. He started 13 games at Florida. Okay, he's a young player. So they make the decision to draft him. Everybody's on board. They make the decision to play him. Everybody's on board with that decision as well. But if you reflect back, you might say, as much as he wows us every day in practice, is he really going to be ready to do this? Now, I think they probably had extra confidence because Shane Steichen was their head coach and coordinator. He'd just come off having a lot of success with Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia. They ran the ball a lot with the quarterback. Anthony Richardson certainly capable of doing those kinds of things. So maybe we can create an environment for him like we did with Jalen. I understand the whole process. I get it. But the guys that are having success as young players right now, Jaden Daniels, again, 50-plus starts in college. Bo Nix, 50-plus starts in college. These guys are more experienced. They're more capable of making the transition. When you're a young player who hasn't taken that many snaps, the transition is going to be that much harder. So I have no problem with them making those decisions up to that point and then saying, he really doesn't look very good. He was 2 for 18 in the game. He looks like he's a little bit out of sorts. He taps out of the game. I get all that thing. Maybe this is the right decision for us now to sit him down. We have Flacco. He's played well. Well, the Flacco thing didn't work out well. Now we go back. It's okay to adjust. It's okay to change. It's okay to make the best decisions for your team right now. And I think that's what they've done. And they're going to be growing pains with these players. You're not always going to be right. The only thing that's wrong about it is if you're stubborn. and you don't look at the evidence and stick your head in the sand and you just keep throwing bad money after bad money. Make the right decision for your team now. Everybody understands it's not perfect, and you go forward.
Yeah, as one coach told me years ago, and it keeps being proven out time and time again, good and bad. If you make a mistake, the worst thing you can do is refuse to admit it and rectify it. If you double down, it's only going to get worse. You need to acknowledge it and move on. And that leads to the idea, because it had been perceived.
Let me interrupt. Let me interrupt you for 1 second, Mike.
Sure.
Let's attack that a little bit. Sometimes you have to have convictions in your belief, right? There's not evidence right now that this guy's going to be a good player, but we're going to stick with him because we know, even though Troy Aikman's 0-11, this guy is elite. This guy is incredible. Even though Peyton Manning threw 28 interceptions, this guy is elite. He's incredible. We understand we're going through this transition and this process. I get that. So you have to have conviction. But one of the most impressive decisions I've seen recently is San Francisco. They trade the whole city of San Francisco for Trey Lance to go up in the draft and get the guy. And they spend time with him, and they realize, you know something, Brock Purdy's better. He's way better. And he's our quarterback. And so they undo that decision quickly. Do they take a beating? Absolutely. They traded him for a 4th-round pick. But they went through that process, and they said, this guy's better. We have conviction about that decision. We're going to undo this other decision, cut our losses, and move on. So you have plenty of examples on both sides where, hey, we should have stuck with Aikman. We should have stuck with Peyton Manning. Hey, it's time to move on from this decision. So again, it's inexact at best, but it's not 100% either way. But again, you have to make your best decisions, trust your instincts, trust your gut, and move forward.
And what we're seeing carved out is kind of a middle ground where you're not making a full and final decision about a guy. You're just saying our mistake was to play him when he wasn't ready. We've seen it with Bryce Young. We've seen it with Anthony Richardson. And look, Bryce Young has come back and won 2 straight games, which for Carolina, that might be worthy of hanging a banner, given how they've been in recent years. And for Richardson now, he comes back after a reset and hopefully some maturation, hopefully understanding you don't tap out of a game, learning the commitment, the amount of time. I talked about this earlier, the time that you have to put in to be the best quarterback you can be. But my point is this: it used to be regarded as no way, no how. Once you go with that young quarterback, you ride him until he either becomes great or it's over. And you can't bench him because you'll ruin him. I think you can bench him if benching him is the next step in the broader development. We didn't sit him at the outset of his career. We let him play. You know what? Maybe he wasn't ready. Let's have him not play, and then he comes back and plays. He's not done forever. As you said, we're not benching Anthony Richardson for the rest of his life. This is just what we think is the right decision. We're admitting we were making a mistake by playing him. We're putting him on the bench in the hopes he's going to be better later. That may be a new trend in the NFL now, because for years it's been, oh, no. Once you play him, you got to ride it out to the end. You can't sit him down.
Yeah, you know, the great Jeff Bezos, who's had such a huge impact on all of our lives, he has 14 leadership principles. And he talks a lot about the importance of being right as a leader. He talks about the importance of being able to make the distinction between one-way decisions and two-way decisions. Okay, not every decision you make in your life is the be-all and end-all decision. Like, we have to stick with that forever. There are things called two-way decisions. Let's make a decision. And if it doesn't work out, we'll undo the decision. Now, you want to be careful about doing that too much. You want to be thoughtful in your decision making. We get all that, particularly with young quarterbacks. But it doesn't mean it's a one-way decision. Okay, we're gonna take him off the field. We're gonna jettison him out of the organization. That's not how this thing works. Okay, you know, this idea of, okay, kids growing up with participation trophies, everybody gets a ribbon. Okay, that's not how the NFL is. I mean, you're gonna take some lumps. We're gonna sit you down. You got to fight through it. And if you have the right guy, particularly at that position, they're gonna respond the right way. And they're gonna say, I got to get better. I got to watch a veteran quarterback play. I got to see his meeting habits, his practice habits, what he's doing after he goes home at night, how he approaches the huddle, the line of scrimmage, all the different things that happen, the press conferences. and I have to learn and grow. So if you have the right guy and you sit him down, you can make that two-way decision and bring him back, and hopefully he's better for it.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.